Now let's consider the founding of Equestria as it's portrayed in My Little Pony. It starts with this wonderful, almost mythic narrative of three distinct tribes of ponies: earth ponies, unicorns, and pegasi, all of whom had significant differences in values, talents, and contributions to society. Each of these groups embodies a different archetype or function within a community. The earth ponies represent foundational labor. They are the hands that tend to the ground, providing sustenance and stability. They are reminiscent of the salt of the earth workers who form the bedrock of any functional society, much like the farmers and laborers throughout human history who were the lifeblood of early civilizations. The pegasi bring vigilance, surveillance. Think of them as the warrior class, the protectors. They're akin to the soldiers and defenders of human societies, those who take up arms to secure safety and maintain order. The pegasi remind us of the role that order, discipline, and readiness to face threats play in maintaining the integrity of a community. They are the ones who confront danger directly, and they do so by bringing a kind of courage and capability that is necessary for any flourishing society. This is, in essence, the warrior archetype, a crucial component of any thriving civilization. And the unicorns, they're the intelligentsia, those who wield magic and conceptual understanding. They are the philosophers, the scientists, and the visionaries. They represent the intellectual and creative class, the ones who push the boundaries of what is possible through their unique insights and talents. Their magic is not just a literal force, but also a metaphor for innovation, the kind of creative and intellectual pursuit that leads societies to grow beyond mere survival. It's the archetype of the wise magician or sage, those who understand the abstract, the conceptual, and the transformative potential of ideas. Now here's where the trouble starts. Like any society divided into specialized groups, resentment inevitably begins to fester if each group isolates itself, focusing solely on its own needs and ignoring the interdependence required for survival. This resentment, this growing bitterness, manifests physically in the form of the Wendigos, creatures that feed on hatred and division. The Wendigos are a potent archetypal symbol. Think of them as an externalized representation of internal chaos. They embody the destructive consequences of allowing negative emotions, such as envy and pride, to dominate relationships between different groups. This is a classic warning about the dangers of tribalism, the collapse into chaos when individuals or factions become entrenched in their self-centered views, unwilling to compromise or recognize the value of others. This concept resonates deeply with the works of Carl Jung and even Nietzsche's critique of human society. The Wendigos represent the shadow, the dark, negative aspects of our nature that, if left unchecked, can lead to the downfall of the collective. Tribalism, the inability to see beyond one's own immediate needs, inevitably gives rise to fragmentation and hostility. Nietzsche spoke of the will to power and how it could become dangerous when channeled solely towards domination rather than creation. Similarly, Jung emphasized that without integrating the shadow, without acknowledging our capacity for hatred and overcoming it, we risk being consumed by it. Only when the ponies overcome their prejudices and recognize their mutual need for one another do they defeat the Wendigos. And this is about more than just defeating a physical threat. It's about a profound psychological transformation. It's about the emergence of a higher order unity, what Jung might call the process of individuation, but on a societal level. Individuation, in the Jungian sense, is about integrating all parts of the self to achieve wholeness. For Equestria, it's about integrating the strengths of each tribe, the grounded reliability of the earth ponies, the courage and vigilance of the pegasi, and the intellectual magic of the unicorns, to create a harmonious whole. This higher order unification is not forced conformity. It's an organic integration of unique talents and values into a cohesive, functioning society. The lesson here is timeless. True unity arises not from imposing sameness, but from recognizing and valuing differences, and then integrating those differences in a way that serves the greater good. It's the archetypal journey from chaos to order, where chaos is the division and hostility represented by the Wendigos, and order is the harmonious, flourishing society that emerges when the ponies finally join together. This theme is as old as civilization itself. We see it in the formation of early human societies where disparate tribes had to come together, often under great pressure, to form cohesive communities. We see it in religious stories. The Tower of Babel, for instance, tells of the dangers of division and the importance of unity and purpose. And we see it in our own psychological development, where integrating conflicting aspects of ourselves is necessary to achieve a sense of purpose and well-being. The founding of Equestria is, therefore, more than just a charming children's story. It's a mythological narrative that speaks to the very heart of the human condition. It tells us that only by overcoming our petty divisions, by recognizing that the things that separate us are far less significant than the dangers that threaten us all, can we hope to build something lasting and meaningful. It's a call to transcend the self, to find a place within the broader community, and to realize that our survival, indeed our flourishing, depends on our capacity to work together in spite of our differences. And that, well, that's a message as relevant today as it has ever been, echoing through the ages in every story of unity triumphing over division.